Pro, there's no coating, so you can heat it up as hot as you want. The surface is all clad with titanium.
Welcome back. In a wide-ranging interview with podcast host Brian Tyler Cohen on Saturday, former President Barack Obama weighed in on the issue of rising homelessness in the U.S.
I think morally, ethically speaking, it is an atrocity that in a country this wealthy, we have people just on the streets. And we should have we should insist on policies that recognize their full humanity, people who are houseless, and be able to provide them the help and resources that they need. But we should also recognize that the average person, doesn't want to have to navigate around a tent city in the middle of downtown. That doesn't mean that we care less about those folks. It means that if we really care about them, then we got to try to figure out how do we gain majority support and be practical in terms of what we can get through at this moment in time.
I mean, Rev, it comes back to that constant question of policy idealism and then the rubber meeting the road in a Congress that is just so divided. But on this issue that you and Joe Scarborough have talked about so many times, the idea that homelessness in a country such as this is not just inhumane, but also feels like it's anathema to the things that this country is grounded in. And I wonder, as the richest country in the world, the fact that this problem persists and isn't just a problem that's persistent, but also one that has no seeming political fix in the near future. I mean, how do you think about that?
It does not seem to have a fix in the political future. And a lot of it is because we are not pressing enough those in office to come up with a solution and to come up with a program that would deal with it, whether it's those on the right or the left. I think that the fact that you have, I remember when I was a kid just joined the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. King's last effort was the Poor People's Campaign, which included homelessness. And we're talking how many years later, and we still have not grappled with how we deal with homeless people and poverty in general. And it's almost not spoken to. It's alluded to by the left, not dealt with by the right, and not a real solution-based politic from either side.
Yeah, it's not a central policy tenet, certainly not in Congress, and then definitely not on the campaign trail. One of the issues that is front and center, though, is this concept of immigration, especially in light of what the Trump administration has done to not just make it a centerpiece, but also make it potentially a moment of overreach. That's something former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton spoke to, criticizing President Trump's immigration policies while speaking at the Munich Security Conference in Germany this weekend. She also acknowledged, though, the need for reform to the system. Take a listen.
Migration has been a huge flashpoint. More people were deported under my husband and Barack Obama without killing American citizens and without putting children into detention camps than were in the first Trump term or this first year of Trump's second term. There is a legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration. It went too far. It's been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane way with secure borders that don't torture and kill people.
What I feel like John Meacham, this former Secretary of State, is saying there is kind of speaking to some of the anxieties that I've heard from Democratic sources for years now, which is that they feel they have lost the policy plot when it comes to having a coherent immigration policy. Certainly, it was one of the key issues in the 2024 election. But what I feel like Clinton is trying to do there is some sort of rebalancing of the political spectrum on an issue that has only increased in salience, and that, frankly, the Trump administration's overreach, and polling underscores this as well, has sort of left an opening for Democrats to come in and look like the common sense actors in the room.
There is, and there's a connection, actually, between President Obama's remarks and Secretary Clinton's remarks there. And it's the yes, but formulation.
Yeah.
The formulation that this is an issue, X or Y either went too far or didn't do enough, so let's engage this on the ground of reason. And I hate to bring that up because I know that's in vanishing short supply, but The point of the United States was, as Alexander Hamilton said, was that force and accident were the forces that usually created governments or regimes. Reason and deliberation was the constitutional process. The constitutional impetus was, let's see if we can prove, this is in the Federalist Papers, let's see if we can prove that reason and deliberation can take a stand against force and accident. And what both President Obama and Secretary Clinton there said, and it's not a partisan thing. There are Republican voices, traditional Republican voices, that may not say it too much right now, though they should. But it's the fact that it's noteworthy, and we should say this on President's Day, the fact that it's noteworthy that two leaders of the country just said, hey, let's work on something. Maybe one side isn't entirely right. Maybe there's a policy solution that's going to require some work. That shouldn't be something we comment on, right? Yeah. That should be the air we breathe. That's when politics is about the solution of problems for a given period of time, that's what we want. Politics doesn't have to be, as it is under this administration, total war, where you have to destroy your enemy, you have to outpost them, you have to delegitimize the opposition. American politics at its best is about dispute, but ultimately a resolution. Yeah. And right now, we, broadly put, have put too much of a value on perpetual dispute.
Yeah, I think that's the permission structure in politics, upheld by massive fundraising made off of viral moments where you're trolling some member of the other party. It is not this kind of nuanced solution-based system that you're talking about. And frankly, one that holds space for policy that does not immediately fit into one lane or another within a party orthodoxy.